Why do men tell you that they're gonna do all of these amazing things for you and never do them?
This is actually called future faking. And some men will pretend that there's a future there so they can get a little further with you. You'll let your guard down. You might, soften some of those boundaries when you think there's a future, when you think he's going to really be there. He's going to tell you in June, I want you to meet my mom around Christmas. I want you to do these things. Next year we're going to do this, and maybe you'll be my wife someday. Maybe you'll have my kid someday. That man knows good and well he never wants to do those things. But if he can convince you that he wants to do those things with you and you really believe it, he can get a little further with you. Future faking is how some men get further with women when they promise you the moon and never plan on delivering any of it. You'll know that it's future faking because there's no action behind any of these words. There's no flights being booked, no hotels being booked. Nothing is changing. He's not taking time off of work. None of that. It's just talk, and talk is cheap. Don't act impressed. Don't act excited. Just make him prove it.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be discussing future faking. Future faking is a manipulation tactic designed to keep you around. If you're seeing somebody or if you're in a relationship with somebody, they will talk about the future with you, talk about all of these things that they want to do with you, but they don't mean it, and it's probably never going to happen. As usual, I'm going to leave my commentary for the end of the video, so stay tuned for that, and let's get into it.
What is future faking? So future faking is a manipulation tactic that gives a false sense of promising a future together with somebody else. This could be a first date where someone is saying, oh my God, and we should go on all these trips together and let's go away. Oh my God, our friends would love this. Oh, you'd look so great in that. Our kids would be beautiful. They're creating a false sense of intimacy. They're making elaborate promises and creating this whole future together so that they can make you feel more invested and emotionally attached to them. They could be stalling for time. They're trying to gain your attention. They're boosting their own self-esteem because seeing their partner so invested makes them feel desired and powerful. You don't know this person. Try going slow. If you're on a first or second date and somebody in the early stages is starting to do all this future planning and all of that, just let them know, hey, while this all sounds really great, let's keep just getting to know each other. I don't want to expedite the stages of a relationship before they need to be. Putting boundaries up will help protect you so that you don't continue to get hurt by people. Because I hear this all the time, but he said he wanted to do all of these things on the first date. It's like, yeah, because it was a fantasy. Now it's a reality. That person wrote a check they weren't ready to cash.
If I had $1 for every time I heard, oh, well, he told me that he wants to take me on vacation and that I'm like the wifey of his dreams. I'm like, oh, well, when did he say that? Oh, like on the first date. Welcome to the Daddy Academy. Let's talk about future faking, okay? This is the oldest trick in the book. This is like taking candy from a baby. This is the oldest trick in the book, and it works every time. Let's just think logically for a second, because this is actually pissing me off now. Let's think logically. This guy just met you, okay? Doesn't it seem a little fucking unhinged that he would say like, oh, I can't wait to take you to fucking Paris and I can't wait till you meet my mom or whatever, and he just met you? You're a stranger, and he's saying, you're like, I can't wait till you meet my mom and whatever. That's fucking weird. That's a weird thing to say. That's a weird thing to like put into the future for someone who you just met on a first date, okay? Listen, there's fun talk, right? On a date, there's some fun banter where maybe you'll say something like that, but there's a difference between fun, cutesy talk and it being a little too excessive, okay? And you need to figure out that line. I'm not in your brain, so when you're on a date, you have to figure this out for yourself, obviously. But like, a cute little joke here and there is fine, but like, when it goes a little too much and they keep, and it follows through with the texting and it's just like, he's acting like your boyfriend already after like a date or two within the first week, that's a red flag. That is a flag waving high in the sky. You have to understand this. Just because you have chemistry and attraction with this motherfucker, he's still a stranger. So when he's saying these things, it's weird. It's a little weird. Like, he could be affectionate. He could be, excited about continuing to see you. Like, that's all great. But like, someone acting like they're in a relationship with you already after like a week or two is strange behavior. I don't know I don't know how much more I could drive this home, okay? It's strange behavior. And listen, if somebody's meant for you, they're meant for you, right? I agree with that. People say that all the time. But you have to keep somebody at arm's distance because, first of all, if the guy's meant for you, even if you kind of take things a little bit slower, he's meant for you, right? So it's going to work out. So why do you need to see this person 100 miles an hour from date number one, start talking like, hey, baby, yeah, I can't wait to take you on trips and do all these things. Like, that type of talk early on is kind of fucking, like I keep saying, it's weird. It's very weird. So you might as well like keep things a little arm's distance. You're like, okay, I love how things are feeling. This feels great. But until I see this type of consistency for at least a month, I can't believe it. That's what you have to say. Until I see this level of consistency, effort, communication for a month straight with zero pullback, I don't believe it. We're not being skeptical of like, oh, everyone's trying out to fuck us over and nothing's gonna work, but it's just a fact. You don't know him. You don't know where this is gonna go. You could be optimistic, you could be having fun, but in the back of your mind, you have to say, I'm the prize, I gotta protect the prize. I gotta protect the fucking cargo, the precious cargo here. So I just can't give it away because once Bangtown happens, which it happens as these fast-paced things, once Bangtown happens, the jig is up, right? He's gonna go. He'll bounce if that's when he wants to bounce. So you just gotta be careful. You have to be careful with your time, your energy, your effort, the essence of you. Because, ladies, these fast-paced situations with the love bombing and the future faking, like it hooks you. Doesn't hook men. Men could do this, bounce, girlfriend for the month, and it's over. You have to be careful. You have to be really fucking careful. If you see signs of this kind of love bomby, future faking behavior early, just keep it in the back of your mind and maybe ease back the texting a little bit. Ease back, don't see him twice a week, just once a week, and just keep an eye on it. I'm not saying be skeptical, but you have to keep an eye on it, and you have to protect your peace, ladies. I beg of you.
Listen, this is a manipulation tactic where people will make you sweet promises with no intention of actually keeping them in order to get something from you right now. They overpromise and underdeliver or never deliver at all. They are experts at getting a sense of your hopes and your dreams in order to paint a picture and fake a future that appeals to you. Expert sweet talkers, their words are their weapons, and they don't come across shady, they come across genuine. They use your emotions like your excitement, your taste for adventure, your compassion in order to hook you in to a fantasy future. So they'll plan a weekend getaway and never follow through. Or talk about an exciting business in return for a loan, but keep delaying you payment. Or they'll talk about a house or a future family. Or maybe they're promising to change their behavior, but time and time again, they don't actually do it. They may follow through on little things, like fractions of things, just to build credibility and keep you hooked. Meanwhile, they're literally robbing you of your time until you finally figure it out, and by then, they're ready to discard and move on to the next. Stop falling for future fakers.
This is one thing toxic dudes say to like get you to like waste a bunch of time with them. So future faking, what is future faking? Future faking is one of like the oldest tricks in the books with dudes who like to just waste time and all that. And mind you, a lot of time these guys waste time because of their own insecurities and needing a validation. But that's a whole other topic. Future faking is them verbalizing potential future plans or activities or dropping one-liners to make you feel, oh, wow, this guy's so engaged. Oh, wow, this guy's so loving. Oh, wow, this guy's already seeing a future. Making you create a narrative in your head of what life could be, kind of manipulatively taking advantage of your nurturing maternal nature, knowing that women are looking for something solid and foundational long-term. So this could be one-liners. This could be, oh my God, you'd be such a dope girlfriend. Or, oh my God, what kind of dog would we get? What would you name the dog? Oh my God, like, okay, we seen HGTV. Are we doing shiplap? Are we doing modern? Okay, I'm more of a modern touch. Okay, fine. I'll have the man cave on the side. And mind you, it's only been 2 or 3 dates. He doesn't know your last name. He don't know your mama's name. He doesn't know your astrology sign. He doesn't even know your birthday, let alone favorite color. So how can he create this whole narrative of all this BS of this life and everything else? Because again, he wants to win you over. This is sweet to play house, but it also could be manipulative and something you should look out for and call out to not waste time. And this could be a man just using some strategy to make you fall for him in this illusion-based way. And if you need help with healing and navigating love and dating, link in the bio. I'd love to work with you.
Ladies, watch out for future faking. There are so many men out here pretending to be something that they're not, just to get a girl to sleep with them. Future faking is used to give you false promises that a guy is a provider and a protector, because men know if they act like a provider and protector in the beginning, the woman is going to sleep. The woman is going to sleep with them. The woman is going to feel some form of safety because he's saying that he's going to provide financial safety for you. So in your mind, you're thinking, okay, he's a provider, he's going to take care of me. Ladies, men know what they're doing. Men know exactly what to say to you to get you.
Do you ever notice how their promises never seem to match their actions? That's called future faking. Future faking is one of the most common tactics that narcissists will use, especially at the very beginning, to keep you hooked and to get you hooked into the relationship. It's when they make these big promises about your future together. We're gonna move in, we're gonna get married, we're gonna have a family, we're gonna start a business, things that they might know that you want. But here's the catch. They don't really have any intention of fulfilling those promises to you. They are just words designed to keep you invested in the relationship. They'll create this vision of a perfect future, it keeps you holding on, even when their actions aren't really aligning with it. And they use those promises to really distract you from what's happening in the present, so you start to overlook those red flags. And when you call them out, they'll say, "I never promised that," or blame you for why it hasn't happened yet. "You're too sensitive, that's why I don't want to commit to a relationship with you," stuff like that. But the whole future faking concept isn't about them loving you or wanting a future with you. I hate to break that to y'all. I had to realize that too. It's about control. They're not planning for the future, they're managing you in the present. And I think with a lot of this stuff, recognizing that it's happened is one of the first steps to breaking free, because you deserve someone who doesn't just promise a future with you, you deserve somebody who actually builds it with you in real time.
Future faking is what kept me stuck in the relationship way longer than I should have been. And at first, it was me holding on to hopes for a magical future we had planned. But towards the end, whenever I was ready to call it quits, he started to use those plans as a manipulation tactic to stop me from leaving. And if you're new to my page, my name is Jackie, and I'm giving real examples of emotional abuse tactics so that you can spot them in your relationships. Future faking is what happens in the beginning of the relationship during the love bombing phase, where the two of you co-create this fictitious life together. Only the joke's on you because you don't know it's fictitious. You realize you haven't been dating very long and it feels too good to be true. But because they've spent so much time asking specific questions about what you want, about your goals, and ironing out every single detail, you thought they were genuinely invested in planning your future. My ex would initiate conversations that were so specific. I wasn't just asked what kind of ring I wanted. I was asked to send him pictures with all of the C's detailed. He didn't just plan the song that we would dance to. He planned our entire entrance from the song that would start playing, this humorous transition into our first dance. He got so specific in the details, there was no reason for me to not believe him. Except all the plans he made, the wedding, where we would live, the kind of house we would buy, the kids we would have. He wasn't able to provide any of it, only I didn't know this. This information was kept from me. Because we had spent so much time planning our future, when he asked me to move in with him so that we could make it happen, it made the most logical sense. So I did. But once we moved in together, he stopped bringing up our future, and the story started to slowly change. I moved in 1 month before COVID lockdown. So for the first year of us living together, anytime I would bring up what I thought was our shared vision, COVID was the scapegoat. And I accepted it. There were times I thought, well, there are some steps he could take as we wait for the world to open up again that would demonstrate his commitment to our future. But I dismissed those thoughts and I made excuses and I held on to the shared vision. Then he started to change his mind. He no longer wanted kids. That was a gut punch. Then the truth around his financial situation started to show. He wasn't financially able to contribute to the future we had planned, but I held on to the vision. I took the reins and I created a budget so we could save for the future we wanted. But he would go out of budget and he would overspend month after month. And over the course of 3 years, based on his actions, I came to see that he never wanted that future. He faked our future so I would move in with him and take care of him. When I finally realized the whole thing wasn't real and I had enough of being his mom and I told him that I was done, he said, well, what about the future we had planned? Are you seriously going to throw it all away? There was no future to throw away. It wasn't real. It didn't exist.
Another tactic used by narcissists and toxic people is future faking. Future faking is when somebody says to you that they're going to do something for you in the future. This is something that you really desire, something that you really want. They say they're going to do this for you, not because they have true intentions of doing it, but because they want something from you right now in the present. An example of future faking can be a guy saying to you, oh, when you become my wife, I'm going to buy you a car every 5 years or something like that. What's going to happen is that you are going to start auditioning and performing to become this guy's wife. You're going to do all these things and he's the one who's going to benefit. You'll be performing and auditioning, trying to prove to him that you are worthy of becoming his wife. So I have a quick story time on how some guy tried to future fake me. So before I get into the story time, I just want to say men love future faking during the talking stage. They absolutely love it. So this guy said to me, he was like, Didi, don't you want me to help you open a spa? I can see that you like going to the spa and you like all these nice things. And I was just like, okay, this is random. I had already known that this guy is a red flag because he was love bombing me like crazy. And then the second thing that he said was that he gives 15K as girlfriend allowance. So if I become his girlfriend, he's going to give me 15K as girlfriend allowance. And I was just like, oh, 15K, that's nice, that's interesting. But like I said, this guy was already love bombing me, so I knew that he's a red flag. Anyway, people who future fake because they are trying to rush the access that they have to you, exclusive access to you. They're trying to rush sex. I think in my case, this guy was trying to rush sex, or I don't know what he was trying to rush. And most importantly, people who future fake you are manipulating you to get what they want from you. That's why people always say, let actions speak louder than words. Let your excitement be inspired by what the person is doing right now, not by what they're saying they're going to do in the future.
When you're dating a narcissist or a toxic person, you're going to want to watch out for future faking. And what the heck is future faking? I'm going to tell you. Future faking is when a narcissist or a toxic person makes false promises or future plans with you to keep you on the hook. And I'm going to explain the difference between love bombing and future faking. Love bombing is typically at the beginning of the relationship, and we've all gone through it, so we know it's where the narcissist or the toxic person pretends to be something that they are absolutely not. They are loving, they're compassionate, they're attentive, they're empathetic, they're romantic sometimes. They're very interested in what you have to say. They're all about you. And if you have kids coming into this relationship, they're all about those kids. They're buying you things. They're taking you on trips. They're completely trying to suck you in, pretending to be something that they're not. And then it's a hard pill to swallow when we find out that that person was never real. That person never existed. It was just basically an actor pretending to be something that they're not. Now, future faking happens within the relationship. It happens throughout the relationship. And what that is where the narcissist or the toxic person tries to still keep you on the hook. So they may say things to you maybe a year or two down the road, like, oh, hey, yeah, I really want to buy like a single family house. Or, oh, I'm going to take you on this vacation in a few years. Or, oh, you really like, Jeep. I'm going to buy you a Jeep in a few years, and they know they have absolutely no intention on keeping any of these promises. What they're doing is they're still just trying to keep you on the hook because they know that their mask is fallen and that you're really seeing that they're not this great person. So they're trying to keep you on the hook, to keep you there so that they can still keep their control over you. I'll give you a few future fakes that my ex-narcissist did. So the first one was a single family home. He kept telling me, oh, we're going to buy a single family home in a few years. We're going to move to that neighborhood. We're going to move there. We would drive past a really nice neighborhood. We're going to live there. We never moved. We stayed in the same place. He's still in the same place that he was 13 years ago when he told me that. The second thing was getting married. We're going to get married in a vineyard, like a vineyard. That's where I want to get married, a vineyard. We never got married. The third thing was I've always wanted to go on a vacation that has those cute little huts that are on that crystal blue water, like they have them in Bora Bora and Turks and Caicos. And Turks and Caicos, he had promised to take me to. He had kept telling me, we're going to go to Turks and Caicos. We're going to do that vacation. And that was a vacation we were supposed to be planning right before he broke up with me. So of course we didn't go on that. But that was just to keep me on the hook so that then he could break up with me. So watch out for the future faking. Keep an eye out for that. Actions speak louder than words. Don't believe their words, believe their actions.
If you have been taken by future faking, there is nothing wrong with you. I want to tell you about why manipulators do this, why it works, and what it says about you. Quick recap, future faking is when somebody sets up an expectation for a future that they do not intend to deliver, and it can be direct or indirect. Direct future faking might look like an explicit commitment, something like, yes, I want to have kids with you, I just need to get through X, Y, or Z thing at work first, or yes, I want to marry you. Indirect future faking could look like, you would make a wonderful mother to my children. Or I could really see us getting married someday. Manipulators do this for a handful of reasons, one of which is to foster a false sense of intimacy to bond you to them more thoroughly. The other reason is misdirection. It is much easier for them to get away with their bad behavior or their inherent character flaws when you're busy focused on thinking, well, we'll just get through this rough patch because the future is going to be wonderful. They do this so that they don't have to change their behavior. They can say something and then continue to live their life as it currently exists without ever following through on their promises, whether they're big or small. And the reason why this works is that manipulators prey on your deepest desires. It can be big and small. Things like wanting kids, wanting marriage, or even just like wanting special dates. Fundamentally, the desire underneath that is wanting to feel special and loved. If you've experienced this, again, nothing is wrong with you. And in fact, this demonstrates that you are a genuine and honest person. You could never imagine making a big promise to another person and then not following through with it. You would never see this coming because you wouldn't do that to someone else. Falling for future faking does not make you gullible. It does not make you an idiot. It only says something about the person doing this to you. If there's one lesson I could leave you with, it is to try and make sure to pay attention to whether words and actions are aligning. If you find that you're noticing that they are not keeping up with their smaller promises, you're going to need to start wondering about the bigger ones.
Hello again, I'm back with my commentary. So first of all, I think that my two favourite TikToks in this compilation were the Daddy Academy. I really liked what he said about how this behavior is weird. And I think that if you train your mind to see this kind of intensity, you know, at the beginning of a relationship, when you've just met somebody, if you've matched with someone on a dating app and you barely know each other, but they're like, oh, they're like so into you and they're talking about like they want to meet you really quickly, they want to spend time with you as soon as possible. Like if they just seem like they're trying to rush things, you should be suspicious. You should think that that's weird. You know, real love, real relationships take time to build. So again, if you just like flip your mindset to being a bit weirded out by this intensity, then I think that that can save a lot of problems in the future. My other favourite TikTok in this compilation was by Tara PS at the end, when she was saying how if you were future faked, it says nothing about you, it says everything about the person who did it. Like, if you got future faked, then you're not stupid, you're not gullible or anything like that. It's just like you are such a genuine, honest person that you can't imagine why somebody else would lie to you about these like such big topics like moving in together or getting married or anything like this. because you would never do that to somebody else. So that says nothing about you. It says everything about the person who manipulated you. And that's why I saved that TikTok for last, because I thought I would just end the compilation on like a lighter note and just let you know, again, if this has happened to you, it's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. And I thought that that was such a good message. I also like how she broke down the reasons why manipulative people future fake. So, one reason is to foster a false sense of intimacy, and the other one was to distract you from their other, like, undesirable behaviors. And the same for Shonda's video that I used in the intro. So, when she was saying how they can get further with you when they future fake, like, if you let your guard down because you believe that you have a future with this person and they are serious about you, then you might give up like access to your body sooner than you actually want to, but you believe that they're so into you that you think like, oh well, it's fine because I can trust this person. These things are going to happen because they told me. But again, like many creators in this video said, this is why actions speak louder than words. You can't trust what they're saying. They need to actually prove it. Like, don't allow yourself to get excited just because they said, like, oh, yes, this will happen one day. Like, you need to be more focused on what they're doing now. Like, if they've not really done anything, but they're like, oh, well, we're going to in the future, don't believe them. If they're not doing it at the beginning, then it's probably not going to happen later. But I will share my experience now. So, I have mentioned in a few other videos that a few months ago I was seeing this guy and he ghosted me. And this same guy future faked me before he ghosted me. He was telling me how we would move in together. We were talking about like what kind of dog that we would have. He was telling me how he was going to introduce me to his family. And obviously, none of that ever happened. And my experience was kind of weird as well because he actually did do some really nice things for me. Like, he did take me out on dates, he did take me to some really fancy places. So, I was genuinely kind of convinced that he did like me because I was like, well, why would he go out of his way this much for me if he didn't like me? But at the same time, like by the time that he said all these things, like, oh, you can meet my family and blah, 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 we were already like 6 months in and he hadn't asked me to be his girlfriend yet. So that is pretty much all I needed to know. But at the time, I wasn't aware of these manipulation tactics. I've not really tried to date very much in my 20s, so I think that it was just a lack of experience. And honestly, I'm really glad that it happened because now I know better and I don't believe people anymore when they say these things. Like, I don't believe men when they act like they're really taken aback by me. Like, oh, we've literally just met, and they're like, oh, I really like you, or oh, I feel like there's something here, or I really want to meet you, and I'm just like, why? You don't know me. For all you know, I could be like super toxic. I could be really horrible. Like, I could be a cheater. I could be a compulsive liar. You have no idea who I am, and yet you're so interested in me, even though we only just met. Like, I am so incredibly suspicious of this behavior now, and I'm glad that I am because it honestly does protect me. But that's all I have to say on this topic for now. So if you've made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. If you like this kind of content, please like the video, maybe leave a comment and subscribe to my channel because I do plan on making more content like this in the future. And that's everything. So I will see you in the next one. Bye!